I've got the fuselage now completely infilled. You can see that's that's quite a shape. It really is a torpedo. I'll pull the see if I can pull the cowling off with one hand here while I hold the camera. So the infill work took. Here, I'll do it this way. That'll do it. There. So here's the cowling. It's pretty complete. You see, I lined the inside with a 1/64 balsa sheet, so you can see that you don't. When you look out on the outside of it, you can see the individual infill pieces, but on the inside, you just see the. And it's done in quarters, upper right, lower right, upper left, and lower left quarters. So just 4 pieces to skin the inside of the cowling with, and that was done after some rigorous sanding to get it all smooth. And then the exterior has been sanded fairly smooth now. That's only 2 applications of filler and sanding. Probably going to be 2 more just to make sure we get it real smooth. Got something in there, a little dirt or something. It was a little chunk of filler. Anyway, so we got the top marked with a T, and that's just so we keep the orientation of it in going in one consistent way. And that'll help me when I go to put the paint and put the decals on it. And here's the fuselage. I've done the cutout for the cockpit. We've installed just a rudimentary pit. I've got a instrument panel in there with a couple of dial faces. I don't know if you can see those with the light I have in here. And we've got a seat. Let's see if I can get some light into that. I don't know, it's not so good. A little leather clad seat and a control stick. Anyway, that's where we're at. And this is the cutout for the horizontal stabilizer. You can see there's the last bulkhead there passes right through the tail. That little piece on each side will be just sliced out of there when it's time to put the horizontal stabilizer and elevator in there. This is the magnet installed in the nose so that I can switch out the front end, go from having just an engine hung out there, and then pull the engine off and put the cowling and its engine on if I want it to have it be the cowling look. I'm just doing that. It's just a challenge to see if I could model the airplane both ways, and so that's how we're trying to go about it. Also, these are the wheel pants. This is after a couple of applications of filler. You see we got a nice smooth surface, decent shape to them. I've got the blisters on the inside there. That's where all of the landing gear struts will mount. The lower landing gear main struts are in 3 parts. So there'll be the main strut here, this is just the core of, and then there's a secondary struts that go to the center of the fuselage. One goes there and one goes to the former just behind that. So it's basically 3 legs, 3 landing gear legs on each side of the airplane that the struts consist of on each side. Alright, so anyway, this is our current status of the Air Express Roscoe Turner's airplane, the Gilmore Air Express. This is the status of the build. The next step, I'll fabricate the tail section, the horizontal and vertical stabilizers and rudders, elevator, and that whole tail empennage. We'll get all that going. Empennage, fuselage, empennage. Anyway, we'll get all that tail stuff done. Once all of the major components are done to that step, the final step will be to fabricate the wing, and that'll be done last as far as the major components of the airplane being built up. And then after that comes painting and final assembly. So I'm still working out exactly what the order of that is going to be, but for now the empennage, the tail feathers will be next. And while those are being fabricated and sanded and prepped for paint, the process will continue on the fuselage with a few more applications of filler here and sanding, again, to remove as much of the balsa grain and any voids or defects in the shape of the fuselage. And once the fuselage is completed and the tail pieces are together, I'll fabricate the landing gear, and then the wing. The wing is dead last. That's the last piece of major assembly. And then after that comes painting and finishing and final assembly. The wing going onto the airplane will be the final piece of assembly, along with the windscreen. Windscreens don't go on until the airplane is completely finished and painted and decaled, so that the very final step, I believe, in this process is going to be attaching the windscreen to it, if that makes sense. All right, we'll get things rolling, and we'll get another video up here pretty quick. Thank you.